Welcome to the video, How to Create Activities Related to Your Private Historic Heritage Site. The content of the submodule is divided into the following parts. How to create activities related to your private historic house. Each private historic heritage site has its own unique history. How can this be highlighted and transmitted? How to develop guided or self-guided visits. How to adapt the proposed activities according to the age of the participants. Think of highlighting your outdoor spaces as COVID-19 friendly. The aim of heritage interpretation is to not only show people the interesting aspects of a historic house, but also to convince visitors about its value and even to persuade them to conserve or protect that place. Following the diagram, in order to create activities related to your private heritage site, there are a few aspects to be taken into consideration. The reason you want to communicate with visitors, who the visitors are, what your place is like and what it can offer, the heritage site's surroundings and any activities already present on it, what you want to say about your place, and finally, how and where you will present it. This slide displays an example taken from the Heritt case studies. Castle Blattner proved to be an outstanding model of best practices, showcasing excellent activities and smooth shift to the digital environment. Moving on to the next slide, we can see a digital event organised during the pandemic, with particular focus towards the virtual tours of private historic houses around Europe. During COVID-19, Mi Castillo de Arena, Una vez en la vida, launched a virtual event called Insta-Live Visits of European Private Historic Houses. In this video, the owners were able to introduce their property for 15 minutes to a large audience, thanks to the use of both Spanish and English languages. European Historic Houses began its adventure to the digital world in 2020. The first edition of the virtual visits was an initiative to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the visibility of historic houses. Since then, the organisation created 3 different virtual events organised in multiple editions: Facebook Live Visits, Houses of the Month, and Hidden Stories of Private Historic Houses. Hidden Stories of Private Historic Houses celebrated the value of historic houses and the hard work of their owners by making their stories accessible to everyone on social media platforms. For this project, the intention was to create and showcase videos that would guide the audience through private historic houses and their special activities. During the virtual visit, owners were encouraged to present the history and the unique features of their private heritage house, as well as the hard work it takes to keep it alive. Each privately owned heritage house is an example of the general notion of European heritage, and it contributes to the cultural identity of its region and country. Historic houses feature some of the most important cultural and historical elements of our European built heritage. Architectural styles, cultural landscapes created through common gardening cultures, and even traditions such as chamber music, traditional cooking, dances, and a myriad of other traditional activities and elements. Each one of these contributes to creating the distinctive identity of your historic house. The first steps to successfully highlight the unique history of your property are the following. Observe and recognize the distinctive elements that can only be found in your historic home or that are special in any way. These elements can be works of art, dishes, music, a traditional dance, or any type of tangible or intangible heritage. Adapt the visits and other activities in your home to the elements that you would like to highlight. And finally, create a brand identity related to the elements that you would like to highlight. They can be made visible on your website and social media, especially if you're offering a service such as a bed and breakfast or a wedding venue. The main objective of interpretation is to communicate a message. The interpreter must keep that in mind in order to attract their audience. They have to provoke the interest and curiosity of the visitors, relate by highlighting the connection between what the visitors already know and the concepts that will be introduced to them, reveal, which means that the interpreter has the responsibility of sending a memorable message to the audience. In order to attract a diverse audience for the proposed activities in a private historic house, the age of the participants should be taken into consideration. You should include activities tailor-made for people with disabilities and special needs. For example, multi-sensory experiences, audio options, tactile information, etc. And/or adapt the existing activities to be inclusive of everyone. This can attract a larger audience and will create a stronger sense of community. It's important to understand that the concept of typical visitor does not exist. For example, when it comes to the activities designed for children, the experience has to be totally different rather than simplifying the program planned for adults. Looking at the first figure, we understand that there are a few aspects to be taken into consideration when designing activities for this target group. You have to determine and prioritize specific tasks, remove distractions, make use of objects that children recognize, and choose materials that appeal to different ages. Some examples of activities for kids you could organize at your estate are the following: geocaching, quizzes and treasure hunts, gardening, landscape panels, colouring books displaying your historic house, books with pictures about architecture or history, and finally, thematic workshops. Besides shifting to the digital world, the COVID-19 pandemic taught us to better promote outdoor spaces. Therefore, we believe it's very important to create some activities focusing on this purpose as well. How about organising exhibitions in the garden with paintings, sculptures or cars, or even hosting performances like those organised by Historalia? Brussels Floralia and Hex Garden Festival are two real examples of fascinating activities that can be organised in your garden. Kids love to play outside. Therefore, you can organise some activities for this target group. Moreover, gardening or farming workshops might attract all age groups, let alone a wine tasting tour or a food tasting with local products from the garden. And if you're looking for something more permanent, then you should consider setting up a small cafe or a restaurant. That's all for Module A. You are now familiar with the concepts of cultural heritage, heritage interpretation, as well as digital innovation. In Module B, you will have the opportunity to develop your business management skills and learn more about the various resources that may be at your disposal to gain in competitiveness and visibility. We'll see you there.